Welcome to the Cabinet Briefing. It's always a pleasure for me to bring this Cabinet Briefing, and on today's briefing, I bring the 12th and the 13th Cabinet meetings held on the 28th of April and the 6th of May 2026, and as chaired by Her Excellency the President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. The first Cabinet decision is an update on the green industry sector in Namibia. Cabinet took note of the current status of the green industry sector in Namibia, with particular focus on development of the industry. Key policy, institutional, and investment priorities required to enable the sector to achieve its strategic objectives of industrialization, economic diversification, and job creation. Further to this, Cabinet approved the establishment of the Green Industries Council, comprising of the following membership structure. First, the Director General of the National Planning Commission as its chairperson, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, the Minister of International Relations and Trade, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, and of course the Attorney General and the Governor of the Bank of Namibia. The second decision is the hosting of the 2026 International Society of Pharmacovigilance, ISOP Africa Chapter, Annual General Meeting to advance patient safety from the 18th to the 20th of May 2026 in Windhoek. Cabinet endorsed the hosting for Namibia to host the 2026 International Society of Pharmacovigilance, ISOP Africa Chapter, Annual General Meeting, scheduled, of course, from the 18th to the 20th of May 2026 in our capital. And additionally, Cabinet authorized the Ministry of Health and Social Services through the Namibia Medicines Regulatory Council to coordinate all the planning, implementation, and stakeholder engagements in collaboration with the ISOP Africa, the local organizing committee, and the scientific committee. The ISOP is a regional non-governmental organization dedicated to fostering and developing pharmacovigilance and patient safety across the African continent. The third decision is a MOU between the Government of the Republic of Namibia and the Government of the United Republic of Tanzania on cooperation in the field of correctional and prison services. Cabinet approved the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding between our Republic and that of the Government of the United Republic of Tanzania on cooperation in the field of correctional and prison services. In addition, Cabinet also authorized the Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security to sign the MOU on behalf of the Government of the Republic of Namibia. The cooperation provides for the joint projects in correctional and prison services, exchange programs for training, educational tours, research and study projects, and hosting of sports and cultural activities. The next Cabinet decision is a Memorandum of Understanding between the Republic of Namibia and the Republic of Angola on cooperation in the field of information and communication technologies. Cabinet approved the signing of this MOU between the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology of the Republic of Namibia and the Ministry of Telecommunications, Information Technologies and Social Communication of the Republic of Angola in order to collaborate in satellite communications in order to enhance network coverage in Namibia and close the existing network gaps. Furthermore, Cabinet authorized the Minister of Information and Communication Technology to sign the Memorandum of Understanding on behalf of the Republic of Namibia. The fifth Cabinet decision is the 2024-2025 Integrated Annual Report and Financial Statements of the Meat Corporation of Namibia, MITCO for short. Cabinet took note of these integrated annual reports and financial statements of MITCO and authorized the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform to table the report in the National Assembly. The next Cabinet decision is the 2025 Annual Report and Financial Statements of the Bank of Namibia. Cabinet took note of these 2025 Annual Report and Financial Statements of the Bank of Namibia and authorized the Minister of Finance to table the report in the National Assembly. The next Cabinet decision is the 2025 Annual Report and Financial Statements of the Namibia Deposit Guarantee Authority. Cabinet took note of these annual reports and its financial statements of the Namibia Deposit Guarantee Authority and authorized the Minister of Finance to table these said reports in the National Assembly. The eighth Cabinet decision is the request to table the ratification of 3 International Labour Organization conventions on occupational safety and health in the National Assembly. Cabinet authorized the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations to table the following International Labour Organization ILO conventions in the National Assembly for ratification. First, the Convention on Occupational Safety and Health of 1981 being number 155. Second, the Convention on the Promotional Framework of Occupational Safety and Health of 2006, number 187. And third, the Convention on the Occupational Health Services of 1985, number 161. As such, Cabinet took note that the ratification of these 3 conventions will demonstrate Namibia's commitment to ensuring a safe and healthy working environment for all workers and to implement their provisions in law and in practice. The next Cabinet decision is the MOU between the Republic of Namibia and the Republic of South Africa in the field of employment and labor. Cabinet approved this MOU between Namibia and South Africa in the field of employment and labor cooperation to strengthen and consolidate bilateral relations between the 2 countries. Therefore, Cabinet authorized the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations to sign the MOU on behalf of the Republic of Namibia. The 10th Cabinet decision is the hosting of the African Real Estate Society, AFRES for short, 26th Annual Conference in 2027 to be held in Windhoek, Namibia. Cabinet approved the hosting of this very important conference of the African Real Estate Society's 26th Annual Meeting to be held in September 2027 in Windhoek, Namibia, for real estate professionals, academics, and other allied groups to deliberate on the changing dynamics of the real estate market, emerging implications, and the policy recommendations for governments, businesses, and households. Furthermore, Cabinet directed the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Land Reform to prepare a comprehensive concept paper for this conference. The final decision for this Cabinet briefing is an update on the progress of the 3rd round of the National Polio vaccination campaign. Cabinet took note of the 47% vaccination coverage achieved during the first 2 days of round 3, as well as the cessation of the door-to-door vaccination activities from the 30th of April 2026. As a result, Cabinet directed the Ministry of Health and Social Services to consider the reactivation of the door-to-door vaccination for certain areas when the need arises, in due consideration of the epidemiological risks associated with ceasing door-to-door initiatives. Moreover, Cabinet took note that in the event the vaccination coverage is below the 80% threshold, a round 4 may be required to protect all children and prevent cases of acute flaccid paralysis. Cabinet urged all leaders to support the partnership model by encouraging parents to voluntarily bring their children to designated public vaccination sites. Viewers, listeners, this brings us to the end of the Cabinet briefing of the 12th and 13th Cabinet decision-making meetings held on the 28th of April and the 6th of May 2026.